And so he's asked me, who did you put just out of interest? And I said, Dejon. No, this is no good. No, it's not funny, guys.
We're literally boyfriend and girlfriend. We're week 8 into this, and I don't understand why this is an argument. Like, let's communicate. We can have a conversation without you speaking.
The conversation between Dejon and Meg didn't make sense. I have a feeling Dejon is feeling some type of way because he knows that his couple is not popular. He knows that his partner is sort of in the fans' good books, and this is why he's started sort of making trouble for her. It doesn't make sense why they would argue over something that was discussed ages ago. Dejon is always trying to make himself appear the victim of any situation that does not reflect him in a positive light. He's always trying to sort of cast blame on everybody else, that you're the reason why this is happening to me. And sadly, his mother's behavior didn't, or the words that came out of his mother's mouth during the Meet the Family didn't do him any great service. I know the sister did a TikTok where she was saying, yes, we did call him out, we did this, that, and the other. He's still behaving the same way he did before they went in, which tells me that they didn't say anything. And Tony's karma's real, because the two people that made her life miserable have left the villa, and she's still in it. She's still in it. And Blue and Helena are on their way home. We all remember the time she was very distraught with the Harrison situation because of Helena, and Blue came in and tried to do the same. And the two of them are on the next EasyJet out of Mallorca back to the UK. Anyway, and the game, what do I think of the game? I think Shakira and Harry did very well because they do actually communicate, and you could see that in their responses. Whereas Dejon and Meg were cheating, they really were cheating, and I don't get it. And I'm really sad for Jamie and Yas that they're starting to sort of fall apart at the sort of end of the show, which I really don't like. I hope they can bring it back, and I hope the members of the baddies team can have a conversation with sort of Jamie and make him understand where Yas is coming from, because I really love them as a couple. Anyway, hey there, thanks for stopping by. It's Valerie. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, click the like button, turn on the notification bell for when I upload new videos, and definitely leave a comment. In this episode, I'll be reviewing Love Island UK season 12 episode 53. So it's a continuation of the talent show. Next up is Connor and Meg. Connor and Meg, for me, were okay singers. They're not amazing singers. They were mediocre, if we're going to be honest. I think the Irish accent helped them with the singing, but Meg wasn't that good. She really wasn't. When you compare her to Shakira, who came last, then you can see that's why they sort of separated them, because if they sang back to back, then everybody would have noticed that she was terrible. We have Jamie. He was a motivational speaker. It sounded like more like production came up with that motivational speech. It didn't make sense, but hey, these girls, seemed to really enjoy it. She was really excited and giggly and was really cheering for him. So good for her. Harry, I think he knew that people see him as a clown, so he was the clown. He did juggling. He juggled eggs, he juggled grapes, and then he juggled some balls. He actually did very well with the balls. The grapes and the eggs, I wasn't too sure. Lastly, we had Shakira, who was Princess Shakira. And because she said she dresses as a princess for children's parties, so she did some vocal exercises with everyone. And then from there, vocal warm-ups. And then from there, she sang, A Whole New World. It was really cute. I liked it. I really liked it. I thought her voice it's not like amazingly good, but it was way better than everybody there. And I don't know whether editing as well had the part to do with how it was a bit funny at times. Tony, she was, a Vegas girl. They decided to play on that she works in Vegas. She's a bottle girl. So they decided to play on that. I thought she did very well. And I loved her one-liners, the way she was taking a mic and sort of calling out everyone. With Blue, she told him, you don't need a drink, you're already drunk as is, more or less. So I thought the talent show was okay for mediocre people. None of them, it seems, has any talent per se, and the boys, I don't think, wanted to sort of play on the football side because it's been done so many times. The Islanders then received a text message to vote for a winner. I think it was more out of empathy than anything. I don't think Helena was the best, but they decided Helena was the winner. And she was excited. And so after she was announced, people started talking about, when we got the text message, we were worried that what is it? So it's good that it's just to announce a winner. But then immediately after, Yas received a text message. The public have been voting for their favorite couple. And then Meg received a message, and it was to reveal that Blue and Helena are dumped. Am I surprised? No. No, I think had Helena been with anyone else, she might have lasted maybe a couple more episodes. But the problem is she was with public enemy number one. She was with Blue, and people can't stand Blue and his craziness and the fact that he thinks he's better than everybody else. And this is why Blue was dumped. So once they were dumped, you had sort of Meg. Well, the clique stood up to say goodbyes. And what I loved is Shakira and the girls sort of sat back with their guys and allowed them that moment to sort of say goodbye to Helena. And then once everybody had finished sort of saying goodbye, then they stood up and went to say goodbye to her. And I was side-eyeing, I really was side-eyeing Helena, because she said to Tony, I love you. And it's like, if this is how you treat people you love, I would hate to see how you treat your enemies. Because if you're telling me that you love Tony and you treated her terribly when you're trying to take her man, then I would hate to see how you treat those that you don't like. Because if you can be that horrible, that malicious, that vindictive with someone and then say you love her, I don't get it. They then went for her to pack her bags, and she sort of gave a speech. I've grown, I might not have found what I want, but I think I'm a better person. I think I've grown. Well, in your eyes, not in the public's eyes. I don't think she's grown. I think she's still the same person she was when she walked in. She said, when I'm leaving here a better person. I don't think so. I really don't. She didn't get that redemption arc to sort of, we never got to see her apologize to Shakira and Tony and with how she treated them. So the idea that out of the blue she's saying, I love you, personally doesn't sit well with me and it doesn't make sense. And I don't know whether it's the edits or whether production decided not to sort of show the girls making up. I don't get it. Once they had their bags come out and then they stood by the doorway where everybody says goodbye, and she sort of hugged Harry and then went back for a second hug, and you could tell Harry felt awkward. He really felt uncomfortable, and the way she was going in as though sort of to get one last squeeze from him, and it's like her mouth is saying that she's over Harry, but her body language is saying, hey, I'm still here. If you need me, just call me and I'm ready. That's the impression that I got. And I love that the baddies stood at the back of that line. They didn't pretend to be anything they were not. Even in the changing room, when Helena was packing her bags and the clique were hugging and whatever, the baddies sat down and just looked at her and just kept quiet and just minded their own business. This is one thing I like about Tony, Shakira, and Yas. They are never pretenders. They stand on what they say and what they mean. They don't back down. They could have easily have been, let's help you pack, let's do this. No, they sat back. They allowed the clique to do their nonsense and whatever else they wanted to do, stood at the back of the line and allowed the clique to sort of do whatever nonsense they wanted to do, to say we're going to miss one of us. And that was it. And so once she left, you had the two Megs sitting at the fire pit. That I found awkward. I didn't know where Angel was, whether she was with her partner or whatever. She was in a diary cam. I don't get it. Because you had Megan say, I'm happy that you're here with me. And it's like, but Angel is here with you. You recruited her, so it's not like you're on your own. Even if Megan were to go home today, you still have Angel. And then she's being this Megan is being this motivational speaker to Irish Meg. Oh, don't worry, don't listen to what people were saying to you and Connor about whatever happened. Just ignore it. Just focus on the two of you. Just ignore. Don't say anything to Connor. Just pretend like nothing happened. And it's like she knows her friend still has feelings for Tony, and she's just using Connor to get to the end. And this is why she's saying that to her. Otherwise, why would you feel the need to say that? You then have Shakira in the den with the other baddies. She was with Tony and with Yasmin and their guys, but Harry wasn't there. So Jamie asked Shakira, how do you feel now that Helena's gone? And Shakira I was very mindful of everything I was saying or doing, just because I didn't want to upset Helena. So now that she's left, I can be free to be myself around, Harry. I was even afraid to kiss him or do anything because I didn't want to upset her. And it's like, you're the bigger person here. You're only 22 years old, but you behave like you're the older person, because when you broke up with Harry, Helena was ready to take him to the hideaway, and yet you've been holding back and sort of been worrying about her feelings. Helena hasn't grown, as far as I'm concerned. You have the islanders get ready and they get into bed. Obviously, everybody's talking about the fact that Blue and Helena are gone. It's mainly about Helena. I think Blue, they're all happy he's gone because he was getting on everybody's nerves. And as the lights go out, Dejon and Meg get busy. They've really been busy. This is why Meg can't think straight, because Dejon just gives her the D and everything else is, it's my boyfriend, it's my boyfriend. So in the morning, the islanders wake up. They get, you have Dejon and Meg sort of moaning about the fact that Helena's gone. They're used to waking up and seeing her first thing in the morning. And this is the first time that they've woken up without her around. And do I have empathy? No. Helena, I think, should have gone home a long time ago, but production didn't send her home because she kept putting herself in love triangles, and they didn't have enough storyline without her, so they had no choice but to keep her. So this is why, in my opinion, they were able to save her for as long as they did. You have the girls go and get ready. You have the guys also get ready for the morning. You have Jamie sort of make a fruit platter, and he goes with Yasmin in the den, and they're busy sitting and eating their breakfast. While everyone is just hanging around outside, you have Megan out of the blue walk into the bedroom. And it's like, did she walk into the bedroom because she needed something? Or did she walk into the bedroom because production called her? Anyway, she notices that production have laid out some babies. So the baby's there in the bedroom. So she calls everyone to come over. Everybody goes over. And some people are really not with it. Yasmin immediately says, I don't want babies. I really don't want it. I don't want this life. And it's like, well, this life comes at you. I think this is a task that they should be teaching at school. I don't know whether they do teach it at school anyway. But I think this is something they need to be teaching at school about babies, especially to reduce the risk of teen pregnancy. So it was interesting to see who was really going to participate fully and who was just going to go along with it just because it's something that's being, produced on TV. So everyone got their babies and got to sort of name their babies. You had Yasmin go to the terrace with Jamie, and she told him, I really don't want babies. I really don't. I wish I could run away. Meow Meow is my baby. And it's like, yeah, Meow Meow is your baby. But I was side-eyeing her until she said, I have looked after my friend's kids. So it's not that I'm not good with children, but it's just I really don't want children. I want children that I can give back. And that's it for me. And it's like, well, if that's what you want, who are we to force you? Shakira really took on board the role of being a mom, because at one point she had Harry sort of checking the temperature for the milk to make sure that it wasn't too hot for the baby. And it's like, wow, I love this for her. You had Jamie. It was like he was teaching a child to walk, because at one time he was sort of walking beside Yasmin and sort of encouraging her to push the trolley and the stroller. And it was just, oh my God, I don't know. And then you have Angel and Ty go to the terrace. I don't get it. I think they're playing a game, because you had Ty sort of say, I've had a hard time in here until you came in, and now that you're here, I'm so happy. I've never been happier. He asks her to be exclusive because he wants them to work on the outside. I think he's playing a game. He didn't need to ask her to be exclusive. He could have waited until they left the villa, because they've barely been together for 2 weeks. So the idea that he's already going exclusive doesn't make sense. And for her to say yes, it also doesn't make sense. It tells me that they want to get to the finale, and they think viewers will buy whatever they're selling if they show that they're really serious about one another. We haven't seen as much of their journey. So for me to believe that, I sort of side-eyed quite a bit. Dejon and Meg were at the fire pit. They were talking about children. You had Dejon asking Meg, are you broody? Do you want to have children? And stuff. And it's like, these are conversations that they should have covered in 8 weeks. Week 3, week 4, this is what they should have been discussing. So the idea that they're a couple, but still don't know that about one another, doesn't make sense to me. And I'm still puzzled. Yasmin was still struggling around the villa, still struggling with her baby. And then at one point you had Ty, Connor and Cash sort of playing with their babies, sort of trying to keep their babies entertained and doing little exercises. Even the boys from the clique were also with their babies doing exercises. And Harry had a conversation with Shakira where he was saying, he feels broody. He asked Shakira, do you want to have any kids? Shakira said, I told you the qualities I need in someone that I consider a husband material. So Harry will need to do a lot of work and a lot of self-reflection and a lot of self-growth in order for Shakira to even consider that. And she's only 22 years old. She's got goals. She's got ambitions. So he needs to take that into consideration before he can come back to this topic about wanting children with her. Yasmin kept telling Jamie that she doesn't want kids. I don't see that in my future. Even people say you'll change your mind later. I won't change my mind. And it's like, well, it is what it is. Tony and Cash had a conversation, and Tony said she likes children, but she's not going to sort of participate in this task because at the end of the day, this is a plastic doll, so she doesn't see the need for her to do anything different. But had it been an actual baby, then she would have been more hands-on. And it's like, these girls are not playing games. They're going to air out their opinions. If they don't want children, they're not going to allow anyone to force them otherwise. While they're hanging around, Cash receives a message. Islanders, tonight you'll be tested on how well you know your other half. Hashtag knowing me, knowing you. And you know it's about to be messy because you have everyone going to their couples and they start sort of quizzing each other about, the other person. Dejon, for him to ask Megan, what's your middle name? What's your surname? It's like, what have we been talking about for 8 weeks? What exactly have we been talking about for 8 weeks? Yes, we're busy at night, but during the day, what are we discussing? Make it make sense. You then have everyone go and line up. They give the babies back. It really wasn't even 10-15 minutes of the babies. So they give their babies back and then you have the parents sort of line up and say goodbye to their babies. It was painful to watch. It really was. So it's time for this knowing you, knowing me game. What I did in my responses, sadly, I didn't write down everybody's answer because I thought it was going to be too much work for me and I have work later, so I couldn't do that. But I did write down all the questions. So if you want to know the questions that were asked, I will tell you who got what right, who got what wrong, because they started off with the girls sort of with the guys giving responses of what they thought their girls would say, and then the next they went to the girls sort of giving responses of what they thought their guys would say. So first up was, what is your partner's favorite TV show? Well, they were being called out, and Ty with Connor and Dejon, well, they got it right, and also Jamie got it right. Sadly, Harry and Cash didn't get that one right for their girls. Next one was, what is your partner's favorite love language? This one created a lot of havoc for Dejon and he never got over it. The only person who got it wrong were Dejon and Meg and Tony and Cash. Tony and Cash. Everybody else got it right. Dejon was upset because she said she wanted quality time. Well, he put quality time and she said, what did she say? I don't quite remember. And he kept badgering on it. Acts of service, I think she said. And he kept badgering, what do you mean acts of service as compared to spending quality time? Make it make sense. And I think from that point, that's when they started cheating, because you could tell they were cheating because cameras kept panning on them and they were making these facial expressions that would sort of indicate to the other what answer they were going for. Next answer was, how many children does your partner want? Everybody got it right because obviously they'd done this task. And then what is the one thing your partner would change about you? This is where it became juicy. Everybody Ty got it wrong, and also Jamie got that one wrong. Jamie with Connor. Yeah, sorry about that. So Ty, Connor and Jamie got it wrong. Everybody else got it right. And I'm actually proud of Shakira and Harry because they did very well, which tells me that they've been doing a lot of more communication than he was doing with Helena. Last question for the guys was, what is your partner's best feature? This was interesting. Because you had the same people got it wrong. So you had Ty, Connor and Jamie got it wrong. Everybody else got it right. Dejon at that point was now telling Meg exactly what to say. Next question was the girls being asked, what is your partner's favorite place? This was interesting because Tony and Cash got it right. They said Grenada. Harry's was New York City, but that's where Shakira wants to go. And then with Dejon, they said the Caribbean. That was a cheating answer. At that point, Dejon and Meg were cheating. I'm just going to stick to that. Next question was, what is your partner's greatest fear? That as well there was a lot of cheating because Dejon was sort of mouthing to Meg, nothing, and Tony had to call him out for that. Everybody got it right, except for Ty. I don't remember what Jamie put down, but yeah. Anyway, the next one was, what do you and your partner have in common? This was interesting. Ty and Angel got it wrong. Dejon and Meg put family, and then Dejon decided to put a dissertation there for reasons best known to him. Connor and Meg got it wrong. Shakira and and Harry got it right. They said humor. Tony and Cash and Yaz and Jamie got that one wrong as well. What is your partner's biggest turn on? So Ty and Angel put eye contact. Dejon and Meg put kissing, but that's because Dejon kept pursing his lips, sort of in a sign like he was kissing. So I'm not surprised that she got that one. With Connor and Meg, they put Meg, and it's like, okay, if that's what the two of you want us to believe, it is what it is. And Harry and Shakira, they got that one wrong. Tony and Cash, he put kissing, and that was wrong. And they also, Jamie and Jamie got it wrong. So the last question was, who would your partner couple up with if not you? This is where the mess began. This is where the drama began. Because you had Ty and Angel. They got that one wrong because Ty put Shakira, because he was obviously in a couple Shakira before. Dejon and Meg. Dejon put, Yaz. Meg on her part had put Angel, and she didn't like Dejon's answer. Dejon said he's already revealed this to Meg, so he's not surprised that she doesn't know that. Connor and Meg put Shakira, which makes sense because he was in a couple with Shakira before, and as I've said before, he still has feelings for Shakira. Harry and Shakira put Tony, that was right. Tony and Cash were wrong because, Tony expected him to put Shakira, but he didn't. Yaz and Jamie. The problem was Yaz put Shakira. Initially, she had put a guy, and then she had to change it. And so when she changed, by the time she changed it, they still got it wrong. And so once the game was finished, you had people sort of move away from the fire pit before. The winners were announced. The winners were Dejon and Meg. They cheated. I don't think they were the winners. I think Shakira and Harry were more the winners because Harry is a different man around Shakira. He's actually more attentive, he's more engaged with Shakira, so I'm not surprised that they won. So you had sort of Jamie and Yaz go to the day beds while Dejon and Meg stayed at the fire pit, and the drama began because Jamie felt some type of way. He asked Yaz, who had you put down that you needed to change? And she went, well, I thought it meant a guy, so I had put Dejon because I previously explored with Dejon. This sort of had Jamie's backup because Dejon on his part had put Yaz. So now he's questioning, what did I miss? What is there that I haven't seen? Because he came in after they'd already explored the romantic connection and things had fallen apart. So he doesn't quite understand, and so he was very upset about that. So I think the good thing was sort of the baddies, Tony and Shakira came, and so he had to leave for a bit, and I think this allowed him to sort of diffuse and sort of reflect and sort of reset, and then hopefully he'll have a conversation. And I hope the girls will let him know that it wasn't really that serious between Yaz and Dejon, because I actually thought she liked Harry more than she liked Dejon, but then hey, Yaz was just being a menace when she first came in. Because with Jamie, he still has questions. Do you still like him? Is there something that I'm missing? So hopefully the baddies will sit him down and actually explain everything that happened, and he'll understand, and they'll be able to move on. I don't think it's as bad as production are making it out to be. So you then have Yaz tell the girls that he's upset because I told him that I had written Dejon, and he wants to know why did I write Dejon? What does that mean? And he's wondering whether I still have interest in Dejon. So hopefully they will sit him down and have a conversation and make him understand. The girls were more entertained because they were listening to Dejon and Meg fall apart. Dejon is a master manipulator and a gaslighter, and he was turning everything Meg was saying around and sort of pointing at her, because he was saying, but I've told you before that, Yaz, you would have been my number one, Yaz would be my number two, and Billikis would have been my number three. And it's like, if he said that, then why did Meg shout across the that game that, oh, he doesn't like you, he's not interested in you to Billikis, if he had labeled as number three? I think he just put it there just because he was told that the fans have a problem with you for the way you spoke to Billikis. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense why he dropped Billikis' name in that when he didn't pay her as much interest as he paid Andrada. For him to say, I've told you everything, even though you've been upset, you're on a TV show, it tells you that this man is playing to the cameras. That's it. He's playing to the cameras, and he's putting on a persona, and at this point he's fed up and he doesn't care what is said or what is not said because he knows he's never going to win. That's the impression that I get. For Meg to be upset, I don't think she's justified as well. She knew what was going on between Dejon and Yasmin. She's not new to this. I have no empathy for her, given the way she's treated the girls in the villa, knowing for a fact that her man was no good and her man was interested in these girls. So she ripped what she sowed, and it is what it is. Anyway, thanks guys for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Click the link in my video to watch my review from episode 52. Bye guys.